Hello, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
So, today we will be speaking about body shaming, and we want to speak on the perspective of both smaller people trying to gain weight and more fuller individuals trying to lose weight.
Right, so first of all, let's just define what body shaming is. So, Google's definition is the action or practice of humiliating someone by making like mockery or critical comments about their body shape or size. So, that can go both ways. You can body shame somebody that's skinny, or you could body shame somebody that's, a little bit bigger. So,
I think that's very direct too. Like that's very a very direct way of body shaming. I feel like there's also more indirect ways of like body shaming. Like when it comes to the media, I feel like they indirectly body shame people by only making certain features or looks look appealing
right.
or whatever. Like only pushing out certain images.
And I feel like, honestly, like, culturally, I feel like it's also being pushed by, like, stuff that we support, like the Shade Room. Like, when they be like, who wore it better, this versus this.
I don't know about support because I don't follow them, but I'm not
I'm
gonna lie.
dead.
I be nosy reading the stuff though.
I be reading the comments. It'd be funny sometimes.
Oh my goodness, some comments be killing me. The way I be on it though, you would think I follow them, but no.
I mean, low-key, that's you basically support. You might as well follow them. But yeah,
I be telling myself I'm better than that. But anyways, body shaming.
But yeah, so I feel like sometimes that could be a little bit like problematic when it comes to like who wore it better. And I feel like most of the times people that choose who wore it better is the person with the fake body. Like again, like we was talking about how Regina Carter versus Alexis in the pink suit. Mm-hmm. Probably gonna insert a picture here somehow or whatever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people in the comments were kind of just being like, oh, like what I ordered versus what I got. Talking about, Alexis.
Real life versus expectations.
Right. And then it's just like, Regina is a beautiful girl. She has a beautiful natural body. And Alexis is also beautiful. And she has a beautiful body that, she built herself.
I'm dead. Alexis is bad.
She a bad girl, she's whatever, bad. But I feel like it's too many people that want the fake versus the real. And it's no shame. It's like, you could like what you like. Like, I'm not saying, oh, because you have a fake body, you're not cute or whatever, or you're this or you're that. But it's just like, don't tear down people that have natural bodies, because then it's just like, you're just perpetuating the stereotype that, like, women need to get their bodies done in order to look beautiful or in order to, like, fulfill a certain beauty standard. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your opinion. I think it's very important also that people don't shun women that get work done.
Right.
Because I noticed that as well. Like, people are like, oh, well, she got work done, so she's insecure and she can't love herself. And I do feel like there has to be some level of insecurity to get work done, because clearly you weren't happy with what you were naturally given. But when people use the fact that they got surgeries done to question their intelligence or their moral compass and stuff like that, I think that's an issue. Like, you should allow people.
Very problematic.
You should allow people to do what they want with their bodies, and again, not feel entitled to their bodies or feel like them presenting themselves a certain way should in any way affect you. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people try to make those who go out and get these procedures done look bad, when it's like, it shouldn't personally bother you because it's none of your business.
Right.
But I do think that it is important that that certain women don't become the standard or whatever. Like, there shouldn't be one standard, and if there is a standard, which there shouldn't be, the standard shouldn't be unnatural bodies, because, like, again, not everyone could afford these procedures, so it's like you're just putting people up to a standard that isn't easily attainable, and it kind of makes people like not want to accept their true selves. I just edited the clip you guys, so that point might seem a little weird, but what just came to my mind is earlier I was watching The Real. It's funny that this relates to it. And it was an older clip of The Real.
Maybe
and
clip somewhere.
I mean, I know I can't put that clip in here. But they were actually doing a conversation where they were talking about parents. They were speaking to parents, and they were like how some parents have teenage daughters who actually, after graduating high school, as a gift for graduating, their graduation gift was plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's very common in like Korea, Asian countries.
That's crazy to me. But I respect your culture though. But what they were saying was that it all came up because Kim Zolciak, however you say her last name, her daughter posted a picture who a lot of people assume her butt was fake. And Kim was like, oh no, my daughter got that from working out. No lie, a lot of people who got work done do use this excuse. Not saying her butt is real or fake. I'm just saying, yeah.
I mean, Kim tried to tell us that her butt was real with x-rays. And it's like, girl, you know damn well.
But, yeah, I think that when we try to put, like, false or, like, augmented bodies on the pedestal, it leads to, people, even younger people, our generation and below, trying to chase after this goal by going to such extreme measures at a young age. Because in my eyes, I feel like at a young age, as they said in the clip, your body isn't done developing. So it's kind of like, oh, you may be doing this now and there might be risks to doing this later, or you might be questioning or unsatisfied with your parents later on in life because you realize that you kind of jumped the gun because your body wasn't done doing what it was doing or whatever. So I just feel like, again, like, it's nobody's place to judge people who've gotten work done, but I also feel like that shouldn't be the image that we put up in the forefront. Right. And playing devil's advocate, I do feel like some people, they do go after people who've gotten work done off of their own insecurities. Like, when they say a picture and the girl obviously looks good, and you're like, well, it's fake though. It's not real. She wasn't born that way. It's like, oh, you know she looked good. You kind of feel bitter. So you're trying to point out this one little fact to make yourself feel better about yourself.
If she didn't say nothing about real bodies or whatever, why are you coming at her for no reason? It's just it just shows that you have deeper implications of the reason, like, why you're saying that. And it's just like, you have to just deal with your insecurities before you try to hurt somebody else.
Like, carry on, because you just look better, to be honest.
Right.
But the fact of the matter, though, I feel like on the other side, people who've gotten work done, I'm sorry, you can't vocalize your opinion on anyone's body.
Because that is a whole fact.
I'm just saying, like, if you got work done, it's like, we know what you was built like before you did that. So it's like,
don't be coming about
at least be somewhat decent. But if you was built like a microwave before you sat on that table,
why'd you say microwave?
I'm gonna need you to keep that to yourself. Even though that is a form of body shaming, excuse my comment, because you know we gotta respect the microwave built people. But
stop.
I'm just saying, like, if you got work done, like, you can't talk about nobody, like, not at all.
And I honestly, I just wanted to, like, know what's going to be next. Because, like, at first, you know, middle school days for me, this is probably, like, 2010, 2009. Everybody wanted to be skinny. Everybody was on this, like, the skinny was in. The skinny jeans came.
Thank you for let's getting on this topic.
The skinny jeans came in. And everyone was like, yes, slim mommy, this, that, and the third. If you couldn't fit into skinny jeans, it was a problem. There was actually issues where people would go to the hospital because they could not leave their skinny jeans. They could not take off their skinny jeans, and they needed to go to the hospital to remove it. Yes, they was white. Yes, they was white. But I'm sure there was some black people too, maybe. But the ones that I saw was white. I'm dead. But, you know, then times change. You know what I'm saying? Times change. And I feel like what's also being pushed that nobody's really talking about is it being like the white standard. Whatever is in white society is also pushed into people of colors, like our community. So when skinny was in, you know, everybody was trying to be skinny, this, that, and third. But then all of a sudden, when white people want big butts and all this, now everyone across the board, culturally, is, you know, wants the whole big booty, big breasted, slim waist body. And I think because of that, there has been a lot of backlash, like, to people that are skinnier or have a smaller frame. And I've seen things online like, oh, I have a real woman's body, and you don't, like, you built like a child, this, that, and third. And it's like, girl,
can
what are you talking
speak about something?
Of course.
So, me and Dami, we both follow this person called Melanin Queens Only.
I'm Zed.
And she did a post on it, and you commented.
I did comment. We gonna put that in the video. We gonna put that.
I was like, yeah, this is why I want to talk about body shaming, because so like, so this is how I feel. I feel like a lot of people, they honestly feel like slimmer or skinny people cannot be body shamed, and this isn't something new. Like how you were saying, like, oh, skinny was in the past and now it's about thicking. No, it's not now. It's not just now. Like, oh, people want to be thick now, so they're looking at skinny people crazy. No, this been happening. Like, and people that, like, I do agree with the fact that people who tend to be heavier, they are body shamed, because people look at obesity or like being overweight as you being unhealthy,
right,
as you having bad health, eating habits, being lazy. They're like, oh, you're not trying to work out, you're not trying to, like, you're not trying to better yourself, you're being comfortable in your situation.
Right.
When a lot of times people have, like, health issues that cause them to gain weight, even though that's not the case for all of y'all. But, like, even though, like, some people can have health issues that cause them to gain weight, or people can even be taking medication,
right,
to cause them to...
and it's also, like, very, like, it's, like, heredity, too. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's genetics.
Right.
Just like how people can have fast metabolism, people can have slower metabolism. And I actually knew someone who she lost a lot of weight or whatever, but she was having mental issues or whatever, and she was prescribed medication that actually caused her to gain weight. And even though she tried to, like, develop better eating habits, because of the medication, it was difficult for her to gain weight. I mean, to lose weight or whatever. So I think, like, sometimes people stereotype people that are heavier, thinking it's the same reasons that I said before, laziness, right, and bad habits, when sometimes they're heavier for reasons that they can't control. But on the other side of the spectrum, I think that bigger people, like, they're not able to see where smaller individuals are coming from. Like, when you're in a position where you literally can't gain weight no matter what you eat, and people ask you, like, if you have, like, eating disorders, like if you're bulimic, anorexic. I actually had someone that I was close to constantly tell me that I look anorexic.
I feel like that is so disrespectful.
It is very disrespectful. Like, but I felt for her, in her mind, she thought she was doing some kind of intervention thing. Like, in her mind, she was like, oh, clearly she has a problem that she just doesn't want to speak about. So let me just, like, bring this to the forefront, and maybe she'll see that other people see that it's an issue, and she'll try to rectify the issue.
There's a lot of fake psychologists, like, in friend groups, and, like, it's like, girl, calm it down.
And she's like my sister, so I respect where she's coming from or whatever. But in my head, like, I really feel like people don't understand that slimmer people have issues as well. Like, thicker bodies, curvy bodies was never nothing new to Black people. Like, this isn't something that we're just looking at.
It's always been, like, the beauty standard in communities of color for you to be, if you are thick, then all of us, like, you're cute. Especially if you're short and you're thick, not, like, you know, if you're tall and skinny, like, a lot of Black men find that unattractive for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think now that, like, white culture is now also emphasizing, and we, no matter what we can do, like, we're always gonna feel what white culture does, just because we're a minority group. So I feel like it's even, like, emphasized it even more now for women to just be as thick as possible with the skinniest waist as possible, and it's just very unhealthy. I see a lot of people doing a lot of unhealthy diets, a lot of unhealthy regimens, just so that they can attain whatever the standard of beauty is. But just to shed a little bit more light on the post that was on Melanin Queens Only, they was talking about
90s.
The 90s people, and like, oh, I miss the 90s when women could just be themselves, this, that, and third. But it's like, girl, no, they could not just be themselves. Like, and I feel like
they deleted the post. I think she deleted the post.
Really?
Because somebody commented to me. It was a heavier girl, but her I looked. I need to step up my videography on Instagram because her thing was mad dope. I went to her page, but it was a heavier girl, and I saw that her comment was liked by other heavy girls.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that it's like people not able to see on the other side of the spectrum again. With a smaller girl, like obviously when you're a bigger girl, you are picked on a lot for your size, as are smaller people.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're really heavier, sometimes it's more easily seen or whatever. So like people, that's like their go-to to like get at you when you're bigger.
And always be the butt of the joke, especially if you're black. Like if you're a black big woman, for a long time, even up to today, to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Like
to this day,
right? They're just like they're at the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching episode from Miss Parker or whatever, the Parkers, where what's his name, Nick Cannon, was on the show, and he was talking about, like, he was doing jokes on the show.
Yeah,
he's a comedian. He was talking about big women, and that was literally the punchline of every of his jokes. And she was basically, Miss Parker, obviously, she a little bigger or whatever. She was like, it ain't that funny, and then she then was making fun of him for being mad skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the bigger women was like up in her, and then she got the award or whatever instead of him. And then it was like, it put it in perspective that, he doesn't like being called too skinny, this, that, and the third. Just the same way bigger women don't like being, like, being targeted at for their weight. So it's just like, I feel like sometimes, like, people really need to step into another person's shoes to understand what they're talking about. Yeah. But I still feel very strongly about the 90s because, like, I honestly feel like the 90s era, like, just mainstream in general, like, when people look at black culture and black society, it was very much one soul type of person. They're light skinned, a light bright person, and they're definitely on the smaller side of the spectrum. But I feel like what we need to realize is that we have to stop talking about, oh, I miss the past, I miss the 90s, I miss this, that, and the third. And we just got to keep moving forward, because I feel like even today, there's more acceptance and there's more awareness of people realizing that both people on the spectrum of weight is being targeted at all the time. And I feel like back then, we didn't really recognize that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at the same time, even back then, we didn't recognize that smaller women are being targeted, even though they are, quote unquote, the standard of beauty because of white society, especially in black culture. But we don't realize the target at them because of, the times back then and things like that. Right. And also because, like you said, it's easier to see a bigger person and just automatically come at them because they take up space,
Yeah. My thing is, I don't necessarily want to say that is he trying to come tell us to be quiet?
No, I don't think so.
I don't want to necessarily say that it's because of white society. Like, because this is something, like, we've been love curves. It has nothing to do with white people. Even when white people was over here, like, is my butt too big? Like, y'all ever saw Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah? And she was like, does my butt look big? And then her daughter was like, yeah. And she was like, good. Like, we always appreciated curves. I think it's becoming more mainstream now because black culture is mainstream. Like, it's becoming, black American culture is becoming very mainstream. Even people who's not from America try to follow black culture and cross over into black culture. Right. So I don't want to necessarily say it's because of white culture. It's because we so poppin' that everybody see it and it's like, dang, they look good. So, like, yeah. But I just feel like when it comes to that, a lot of the women that we're looking at, because, again, the post was showing, like, smaller women. I I feel like a lot of the women that they have, they also didn't have African phenotypes. Like they weren't dark skinned for the most part.
Light skinned, they looked like European.
They didn't have
Or
certain
mixed
features. Halle Berry was big in the 90s. She was on the Post. Halle Berry's a biracial woman. Jada Pinkett was in it. She's brown skinned, but like in the Post, she looks very, very light skinned. She has light eyes. So it's like, it's not just the fact that they were small, it's the fact that they held certain features. Because I felt like if they were dark skinned, being that people already see dark skin as masculine, if they were dark skinned in the same body type, people would question their femininity, because it's like shaming slimmer women is nothing new. They're like, oh, well, she doesn't have breasts, she doesn't have a butt, stuff like that. And on top of that, she's dark skinned. So it's just like, I feel like people really underestimate what smaller people go through. Like, and smaller people been battling like body issues, body dysmorphia for the longest. It's really nothing to do with this generation. Like, oh, curves is popping now.
I just feel like now it's just like more, everything is being brought to light because of social media. Mm-hmm. Now that everyone can have their own platform and they can just speak for themselves, and we can see what another person's thoughts is more easily, because you know, before you were probably just in your own circle, you did whatever you had to do, but now because of social media, I feel like the great thing about it is just that everybody has their own platform and can speak for themselves instead of other people speaking for them, or us listening to other people speak for them. And I think that that's the best thing, like, right now. It's just that I feel like if you, I don't know how to explain this, but there are people out there, black people, that have this weird obsession for the 90s. I love the 90s. But I feel like there's people that fetish the 90s way too much. And especially black men, they fetish the 90s girl way too much, because they don't realize what they're perpetuating. And it's, you know what I'm trying to say? They don't realize what they're perpetuating.
I don't necessarily know if they're fetishizing, however you say it. I don't know if they're doing that. I feel like these men feel like them saying that makes them look a certain way. But it's like half of y'all still be like in here liking these girls' pictures. Y'all still be in here falling for the thirst traps and all of that. So y'all over here gassing the 90s, but to be honest, y'all still doing the same dirt that everybody else is doing. And the thing with the 90s, y'all been having these mental beliefs, whatever. Y'all been feeling this way, but in the 90s, since internet wasn't as big, it wasn't out there as much. Because y'all was probably still falling for women with plastic bodies. Y'all still was like feeding for women's beauty and holding their beauty over their intelligence, objectifying women. Y'all still was doing all of that, just like y'all are now. But in the 90s, it wasn't brought to the forefront. So when people do what you're saying, when they're like, oh, I want to go back, like, no, nigga, you was the same way back then too.
It's just that it's always in a response. I always see that in a response to like somebody that has an augmented body, or it's a post about augmentation. It's just, they're always like, I miss the times where women were just natural, this, that, and the third. Sir. And it's like, boy, first of all, you probably have a type, which is light skin, thick, slim thick, and there's a difference between thick and slim thick, which can also be addressed. Like, and if you, please comment down below, like, what you think that difference is, because I feel like everybody has their own
I feel like there's also a difference between being fat and being curvy. And not to be rude, but there is a difference. But finish what you're saying.
But, yeah, and it's just like, I feel like it's always, I don't know why, but I feel like it's always black men in power that I see this coming from. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, the presidents of organizations, people in power in the media, they're always saying the same thing. And, you know, it's always pushed like that they are, you know, supposed to be with this type of woman. This type of woman that is lighter complexion, European, Eurocentric features, and for the most part, you know, is not too big, but also not too skinny. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They're in the middle. They're still on the smaller side, but not, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know. It's just very disgusting to me. And these are always the type of people that love to talk about black issues and black men and all this stuff in Black Lives Matter movement. And it's just like, y'all keep focusing it on yourself. Y'all don't focus on black women. Y'all don't focus on black women's issues. You're not, I don't know. It's like y'all not hearing us.
Yeah.
We speaking, y'all not hearing us. And you don't care about what we have to say because you're just going to keep liking whatever you like or, posting whatever you post and just perpetuating this same notions. And it really does get me aggravated because they're decent people. But they have issues. They have issues. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not a bad person, but you have issues.
And that's the thing. Someone pointed out before. I think it was Lonnie on The Love. I be watching this show.
I love Lonnie, first of all.
And she be irking me on black issues, but I'm gonna let that slide.
No, but sometimes she be having our back.
Sometimes she do, but I feel like she be dropping the ball one too many times. And we can't rely on Tamara because Tamara as a biracial woman, her experience is a little bit different. Not saying it.
Listen, not saying Tamara the individual, because Tia know better.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
That's what Tia know better. Like, it doesn't always parallel our experiences. But Lonnie pointed out on the show though that like a lot of times but first I want to address what you were saying when you're talking about men in power. I think men, period, regardless of them being black or whatever color, sometimes y'all need to stay in y'all lane. Like y'all really
keep it quiet.
Y'all really don't need to be talking about nobody.
Need to be listening, not talking.
And that's the thing. Like if you're not in a relationship, like I feel like it's different from you being in a relationship with someone because your opinion in a relationship is important. I feel like it's important to keep in mind what your partner finds attractive, and doing something a little special for y'all, like staying in tune, connected, all of that nice stuff. But if you're not in a relationship with that person, you don't know that person, y'all not friends, they don't talk to you, y'all probably don't work together, never met them. I don't understand why y'all go out of their way to commentate on people's body. Like I feel like certain men, they put themselves in situations or conversations that has nothing to do with them. And it's like you could calmly keep that to yourself, sir.
You really could have.
We don't need that. But again, back to what Lonnie was saying, when it comes to women that are heavier, Lonnie was also saying that when she looks in the media, that there are differences between how heavier men and heavier women are treated.
Yes.
Heavier men, I'm not gonna lie, are looked down upon as well.
But they're not the crack of the joke all the time.
They're not all the time. Like in certain situations, especially people will let them slide. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, women like dudes that's rough around the edges sometimes, depending on the woman.
But for men,
our tastes are different. Women will talk. Women will talk to a heavier man.
But bigger guys will not.
Bigger guys will not talk to bigger women. And a lot of times, slimmer men won't always talk to bigger women. Even though you see some occasions where the girl be big and the dude be dumb skinny. Yeah. But like we're not talking about those occasions. But Lonnie was like how in the media, like, if the man is heavier, you would often see him with a smaller wife. Or like, it's okay for the man to be bigger, but the woman has to be in shape. Like they can't both be big.
Right.
They can't both be big. And when I was thinking that, it made me think of TV shows like King of Queens or whatever. Like the husband was the heaven. I love sitcoms. Like I don't know. But like he was heavier and his wife was slimmer. It made me think of several shows, like even Fat Albert. Sometimes he had crushes on women that were smaller,
and then the woman that liked him that was bigger, she didn't like her or whatever, and it was just like this whole, I don't know.
The Nutty Professor is another one. There's a bunch of like TV shows where it's like if they do fall in love, it's like if the big guy falls in love, it's always with a smaller woman, or the smaller woman is always what's appealing to the general group of people.
But
it's
we
not
know
really bigger women.
On the down low, y'all be fucking bigger women. We just listen. It's not a shade. It's just the tea.
No, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. It's like a lot of times when people talk about certain women, and then you look at their baby mothers. Why your baby mother look like that? I thought you ain't like that.
Right.
Like how people be talking about how people be talking about black girls and then they baby mother be black. Like how Kid Rock, he did that a couple years ago when he was like, he was talking about, oh, Beyonce is not bad. I don't know why people gas her. Da, da, da. I like skinny white girls. But you have a black baby mother.
So you was fucking her.
Yo, like.
So you was definitely fucking her.
But that's the thing.
You know, it always is, in whatever situation you're talking about, it's always the people that talk the loudest that are lying to you. I swear to God. The people that shame gay men the most, like men that shame gay.
You be watching him walk. You be watching him swish his hips.
I know you do, and I know you a DL boy. It's okay.
Yeah.
Stop. You don't have to hurt yourself like that.
Come on now.
It's always the people that talk the most that are the most insecure. It be the darkest men that be coming for dark-skinned women.
Come on.
It be the most homophobic men that are gay.
And
it be y'all that be talking about big women. Y'all fuck big women. Y'all fucking love big women. Come in 2 seconds. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
They said that there was an Instagram meme though that was like bigger girls. They was like, oh, they don't get effed a lot, which.
That's a whole lie.
Y'all be lying. But they're like,
lie.
They don't get effed a lot, so like it be extra warm and extra. I'm like, oh, so that means y'all be sleeping with them because how else would you know this?
Exactly.
Like, come on, like. But anyways, like, let's not front. Let's not lie. And women, again, like, let's try to understand women on the other side of the spectrum. And understand, don't try to diminish their experience. And I feel like that happens again a lot with slimmer people. I feel like we reached a point where we do accept that bigger women are ostracized because of their body. But nobody wants to reach the point where they see that smaller women face body dysmorphia as well. So it's just like, try to be understanding of the other side, you know.
And let's just always be... like, let's support this body positivity movement because it's whatever your goal is. If your goal is to be a little bit bigger, or if your goal is to be a little bit, you know, skinnier or whatever, or smaller, or just to attack certain parts of your body that you feel is just a little bit unhealthy, just always love where you are so that you can keep loving where you're going to. Because if you don't love where you're at right now, if you don't love your body how it's at right now, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to be. And I feel like that is the biggest advice that somebody had gave me when we were talking about, you know, working out, losing weight and things like that. It's just, you can't hate yourself and make that your motivation to get to wherever you're going. It's not going to work out. So once you love yourself, you'll be able to love others and just, you know, how they come, and stop attacking people and sit down, mind your own business, eat your food. And don't comment all the time. Just eat your food.
And can we, like, as women, reach the point where we see men feeling like it's their place to come in our conversations, whether it's about big women or smaller women? Can we as women, like, tell them that they need to chill and mind their business?
And eat their food.
Like, come on. All you have to do is eat your food.
The plate was sitting right there in front of you.
Your food getting all cold, stale, and dry, and you over here worrying about us. Like, but you know what? She just said reminded me. I be watching He's Flawless story time, right? And I adore him. Like, do you watch him on YouTube?
I don't watch him consistently, but I've seen him.
I adore him, and his story times be killing me. And when Dami was saying earlier how, like, people who speak the loudest, they be the culprits. Like, they be the main culprits. His story times is evidence of it. Yeah. Because his story times with all these men that be on the down low, the fact that he had to, like, sign non-disclosures to be with these men, it's like, y'all be out here huffing and puffing, like, come on. And y'all know y'all be doing it. Y'all be sipping the Kool-Aid. If y'all be doing it. Like, let's just reach to a point where we point these people out. Like, you cannot speak because we know what you be doing. Like, not saying you need to throw somebody's sexuality out there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when men are in a position where they feel too comfortable and they're talking when their voice needs not be heard in that conversation, we need to address it. And we need to make sure that we, again, understand both sides and make sure that that person understands both sides. It's not your place.
Shout out to Malibu Dollface. He always has some story times just like that about rappers that he's fucked on the down low. And we probably know them too. Yo. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna throw, remember
He's Flawless said we know a singer that he was messing with, and he was like, it's a big singer. Now, I'm not trying to be nosy or whatever, but I think he do R&B. I'm not trying to be nosy.
And you remember when P. Diddy, it came out that P. Diddy had a transgender woman that he was sexually involved with or whatever. And you saw how that was easily swept under the rug because he's mad rich. Like, girl,
I've been wanting to know, though, if you didn't get the sex change, I'd be wondering how they don't know. Like, did you penetrate and not know, or did the person just give you head and you not know?
I feel like we get into like get the sex change, and he like it in the butt a little bit.
I'm dead.
He like it in the butt
like,
a little
can you
bit.
tickle it?
Wait, that's why Cassie.
That's why Cassie. Nah. We
Cassie
need to
was
have
not pansexual. She was like, oh.
We need to have another story time. We need to have a story time, not a story time, another podcast on like sexuality, stuff like that. Comment below questions that you would want us to answer or like look for information on.
And questions about ourselves, our gender, our sexuality.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the podcast or whatever. But yeah, that was the end of this subject. But again, the topics we was just about to address, we'll get to that in another podcast.
Right.
But yeah, please share your stories below.
Right. And we're also I'm gonna try and put some statistics in the description box about like, you know, rates when it's come to like if you're getting augmentation and things like that, because y'all need to be very careful about
be
when
healthy. Research these doctors. Cardi B went in a basement in Queens.
She's still alive though.
She's still alive, but
that might not be you. You know
like,
what I'm trying to say?
Let's do better.
Like a lot of people do die from Brazilian butt lifts. Like there's a lot, as it has increased exponentially, like over the past few years, 2-3 years.
And these beauty gurus that be like, oh, I was working out and my body just fell into place. My butt just grew overnight. I did a bunch of squats.
Okay, bitch.
And then they be coming out on Instagram.
Fit tea or whatever.
Flat tummy tea.
Flat tummy tea.
And like the booty just came overnight. But then they be coming like a few years later, oh my God, my implants is killing me. Like, not to judge those women, you know, you live and you learn. But like, again, let's not put these people on a pedestal. Let's do our research. Like,
do your research before you get any type of augmentation done. Love yourself, love your journey wherever that journey takes you, and don't listen to these dumbass niggas. That's what I'm gonna end that on. Have a great day.
Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications,
comment your own opinions, because you know we're open to that too.
Yeah,
and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Later,
bye.